Deon D1 Best reveals Biggie's and Tupac's death in connection to Diddy. The murders of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls remain two of the most chilling mysteries in music history. Decades later, the cases are still unsolved, and the theories just keep coming. But hold on, Deon D1 Best just dropped a revelation that has fans and conspiracy buffs buzzing. According to Best, these iconic deaths might be more entwined with Sean Diddy Combs than anyone could have imagined. Yes, that Diddy allegedly has more dirt on his hands than the world has been led to believe. But before their tragic deaths, Tupac and Biggie initially shared a friendly bond, with Tupac even offering to manage Biggie. However, after the 1994 shooting of Tupac, their relationship soured, especially when Biggie released Who Shot Ya?, which Tupac interpreted as a response. This led to accusations that Biggie had copied Tupac's style, igniting a fierce rivalry between the East Coast and West Coast rappers. Their friendship turned bitter, eventually contributing to their tragic deaths in 1996 and 1997. Now, Diddy's name has been whispered in connection with these murders before, but Best's bombshell accusations crank the heat all the way up. So what's really going on here? Could one of hip-hop's biggest moguls have played a role in the most infamous chapter of rap history?
Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs was on the scene of one of the most high-profile rapper assassinations in history. He launched a record label that dominated the charts and redefined the rap genre.
Tupac and Biggie weren't just rappers. They were cultural icons. Tupac's death came first. In September of 1996, he was gunned down in Las Vegas after attending a Mike Tyson fight. It was a drive-by shooting, leaving Pac mortally wounded, and despite being rushed to the hospital, he was pronounced dead a few days later. The West Coast was rocked, and so was the hip-hop world, but things didn't end there. Biggie Smalls, the notorious B.I.G., was killed just a year later in March 1997. He was shot in a similar drive-by style in Los Angeles, shortly after leaving an industry party. Both murders were eerily similar, high-profile, public, and with no real answers. The police investigations were a mess, and the theories exploded. As Tupac and Biggie's deaths started to shape the culture of 90s hip-hop, the infamous East Coast-West Coast rivalry was becoming less about music and more about survival.
Can you envision a day when, y'all, if not get together and make an album, just peacefully coexist?
There's no dream of making an album with Biggie and Puffy, or none of them. We're not sweating it like that.
This is our family
We
over
peacefully
here.
coexist right now because we all cool. Everybody's here, they sell records, we sell records. Well, I guess you could call that selling records, what they do. We sell large amounts of records, and they sell a few records.
It was all about who had the crown. But as the drama spiraled, so did the rumors of something darker happening behind the scenes, especially when both killings seemed to be tied to the tension between the coasts. Fans, investigators, and even the artists themselves started pointing fingers. Some blamed the record labels, some blamed the streets, and some believed it all boiled down to business, a deadly business. But no one could ever crack the case. It's this very mystery that has fueled conspiracy theories for years, with folks suggesting that Diddy, as the big boss of Bad Boy Records, had a bigger hand in all of it than anyone was willing to admit. According to insiders, Diddy viewed Biggie as more than a star. He was like a younger brother. Together, they built the foundation of Bad Boy, with Biggie's lyrical genius catapulting the label to success. But as their fame grew, so did the dangers.
Who killed Tupac and Biggie? I think both of these dudes were assassinated in some kind of way. More Biggie than Tupac. I think Tupac might have got killed by a dude that they had an incident with earlier that day. But Biggie's seems a little
JFK.
governmental to me.
If you're not familiar, Best has been around the block in the entertainment industry, especially in hip-hop, and his connections run deep. He's worked with some of the biggest names, but his ties to Bad Boy Records and Diddy in particular make his recent claims about Biggie and Tupac's deaths hard to ignore. Deon Best wasn't just a random guy claiming he knows stuff. He's worked with heavy hitters, and his career has seen him rub elbows with people who were directly involved in the hip-hop scene during its most tumultuous period. But Best has recently claimed that Diddy's mother, Janice Combs, played a critical role in her son's alleged criminal activities. According to Best, Janice was the figurehead for companies that helped launder money and hide assets connected to Diddy's empire. Best even plans to file a lawsuit accusing her of being a central player in orchestrating financial schemes tied to the music mogul.
First of all, that's his mother. Wrong, right, or indifferent, she gonna lie, steal, kill, and protect her child. That's what she's supposed to do. But the apple don't fall far from the tree, man. You gotta realize that. You know, he didn't get all this from his daddy, because he didn't know his daddy, even though they try to say his daddy was some big time drug dealer in the whole 9 yards. You understand? He didn't get this from his daddy. You gotta realize, man, you know, his mother had a modeling agency, and it was alleged that it was also ladies of the night, a prostitution ring too, or these ladies was doing things other than modeling. So the apple don't fall far from the tree.
But here's the thing. Deon Best hasn't been quiet about the shady dealings he's seen. Over the years, he's spoken out about the darker side of the music industry. From business deals gone wrong to the internal rivalries that fuel the violence, he's made it clear that the music business in the 90s wasn't all about making hits. It was about power, money, and eliminating anyone who got in your way. So, when Best allegedly started hinting that Diddy might have more to do with the deaths of Tupac and Biggie than anyone wants to admit, people started to pay attention. It's not like he's just another guy throwing out accusations. He's someone with insider knowledge, someone who's been close to the action. Best has been in the mix, and his revelations come from a place of seeing things firsthand.
So Diddy killed Tupac and Biggie Smalls? Am I hearing this right? Prosecutors confirmed that Diddy's name was used 77 times in documentation alleging that Diddy was the one that put the hit out on Tupac. Keefe D, the man who is convicted of and has admitted to killing Tupac, confirms that Diddy offered him $1 million for the hit. So back in the 90s, Diddy was doing a West Coast tour and hired Keefe D to be his bodyguard. Keefe D says it's at that time that Diddy offered him $1 million to kill Tupac. And if you're thinking Keefe D just brought this up now because Diddy's already in a heap of shit, you're wrong. Court records indicate this was brought to the prosecutor's attention back in 2009. Now, Eminem has stepped it up a notch, saying that not only did Diddy kill Tupac, he killed Biggie Smalls too. Listen to his new song lyrics.
Can't you just spell the word rapper and leave out the P, Diddy?
Now, of course, all of this is still speculation. There's no hard proof that Diddy was directly involved in either of the murders, and no one's been able to tie him to the killings in any official capacity. But as we've seen time and time again, the line between business and personal in the music industry is blurry. And when power and money are on the line, people are willing to do just about anything. Best's claims are just one more piece of the puzzle. And the more we hear, the more we wonder whether the truth about these murders is buried deeper than we ever imagined.
Some dudes would do that. You would never catch me wearing something else, something that somebody else got. He was knocking down all the women that he thought Pac was knocking down. And what I mean is having sex with them. Why would you want to have sex with women you know for sure a dude that was once cool with you was dealing with? That's that image. Because you got to realize, bruh, Puff and Pac was cool at.
The fight for justice in both Tupac and Biggie's cases has been nothing short of frustrating. For years, Both murders have been classified as unsolved. Despite numerous theories and suspicions swirling around, there's been a laundry list of suspects, from people close to the artists themselves to figures in the music industry, but the truth has remained just out of reach. Every new lead seems to fizzle out, and every new piece of information only adds to the pile of unanswered questions. The problem is that the investigations into both Tupac and Biggie's deaths were tangled up in a web of corruption, misdirection, and personal interest. The LAPD and the Las Vegas Metro Police, who handle the respective cases, have been criticized for their lack of progress and the many dead ends they've encountered over the years. It's easy to wonder if there were people in positions of power, people like Diddy or those around him, who had the means to influence the outcome of the investigations, keeping them from moving forward. As much as the public has clamored for justice, it seems the forces at play are too powerful for a clear answer to emerge.
But nobody know why Pac and Puff fell out like they did. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody know why. But Puff had an obsession with him for whatever reason it was, because he started wanting to act. He started wanting to rap. He had an obsession so bad that at his Grammy Award winning speech, he used the same speech that Pac used.
Best's revelations don't just highlight the issues with the investigations. They point to the wider culture of secrecy and manipulation that surrounds the music industry, particularly in the 90s. At the time, hip-hop was growing rapidly, becoming a major force in global culture. But it was also a scene rife with competition, jealousy, and backstabbing. People were willing to do anything to protect their empire, whether that meant throwing someone under the bus or using violence to eliminate a rival. This cutthroat environment created an atmosphere where the deaths of Tupac and Biggie could be seen as part of a larger, more dangerous game, one that the public and even law enforcement might not fully understand.
You being the president of Bad Boy at that time, do you think Biggie was happy on Bad Boy? Do you think he was planning on leaving?
I feel that he was happy about his career. He was happy about the blow up. He was always on the line. He never let us feel comfortable like, oh, y'all did me right. Oh, I'm loving you guys right now. He would never give it up like that. He would always have us under pressure to keep doing it bigger and better. I honestly, when I look back on it, if he trusted Sean more, it would have been better. But he didn't trust him as much as the way Sean says they were best friends after he was dead. No, I didn't see that during the time we were working with him. I see that as an emotional cry out after he's gone.
Even as people come forward, like Best, claiming to know the truth, the lack of hard evidence means it's still all a speculation. We want to believe that the justice system will prevail, that the families of Tupac and Biggie will get the answers they deserve. But the reality is much messier. There are too many people with too much to lose, too many people whose names are too tangled in the web of this tragedy. The longer these cases go unsolved, the more the legacy of these two artists is tied to speculation and rumors, rather than closure and truth. And let's not forget the families and loved ones of Tupac and Biggie. Their pain is real, and their loss is something that can never be fully healed. For years, they've been denied the peace of knowing exactly what happened, and the mystery surrounding their deaths only adds to that wound. No matter how much time passes, the truth matters. The families deserve to know what happened to their sons, brothers, and fathers. And the public deserves to understand how these iconic figures were taken from the world too soon. So, where do we go from here? How do we reconcile Best's claims with the lack of conclusive evidence? Will anyone ever be held accountable for these murders? We're still left with more questions than answers, and the fight for justice continues.